from 39% to 35%, and Cruz widening his lead on him in Iowa. Does that make you a little bit anxious?
Well, most importantly, I'm an outsider guy, okay? That's what I want to see, so we turn over Washington. But no, here what I would say, Charles, is a couple of key things to remember. Iowa is lousy at picking GOP nominees. They've only picked 2 out of 6 of the last several elections where there wasn't an incumbent GOP president in the race, okay? They're lousy at picking the nominee.
Mark, is that sort of a sour grapes kind of thing? I mean, is that a genuine, so they don't care who, I mean, Trump wouldn't be upset or hurt or sort of visibly impacted by this if he didn't win Iowa?
Well, but, you know, I mean, frankly, I think what's going to happen is the 2 top vote getters in Iowa are going to be very, very close. And so they're going to have to slug it out in New Hampshire, South Carolina, and Nevada. But look, I think maybe even more important than that, Charles, is a huge wild card, open primaries. There are states like Arkansas and Alabama, Michigan and Minnesota, Virginia, Tennessee, many of which have primaries by mid-March, okay, where Democrats and independents can vote. If Trump is able to win, I think it's going to be because he mobilizes those people to vote for him in those states.
Right.
So it's going to be a slugfest in all these states. And I think Cruz may win Iowa. I think Trump may win Iowa. Yeah. But those wild cards of those open primaries, I think will make a bigger difference.
Talk about Trump and the Reagan Democrats, and certainly that's in play too. Ebony, what do you make of the numbers?
I think he's spot on with that. I saw a Salon.com piece talking about the only thing scary. That's a pretty progressive left piece. The only thing more scary than the Donald Trump nomination is if he's not nominated. They're talking about Ted Cruz, and that is something that the left and the moderates are just not prepared for. That is a very conservative candidate. And so, yeah, Trump is going to benefit immensely from that type of propaganda.
Jillian, I did the math. The non-establishment candidates last time in November were 64% total in Iowa. They're 59%. Could these establishment guys be making a last-ditch attempt to be relevant?
Well, I think certainly you see that with Jeb Bush's fundraising. What I think is really an interesting dynamic, though, is Rubio, because he has been pigeonholed into being an establishment candidate. I don't think he's an establishment guy. I think he's bucked the establishment in several instances. But for him, it's kind of become a situation where if he can get enough people to drop off, if he can kind of play the long game and be strategic, maybe he can make that establishment
I hear what
you're
saying, because he came into to Washington as a Tea Party guy, but I think in this particular instance he would have to team up with the establishment after Iowa and ask 1 or 2 of them to drop out in New Hampshire to really make it a tight
race. Rubio's problem is he's trying to be all things to all
exactly.
people.
He can't.
And I think that's going to hurt him.
And Trump's advantage is he is all things to all people right now.
We got to leave it there, guys.